Javonte Williams could be Johnathan Taylor of 2021.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
Smitty!
Take a lap.
Javonte Williams could be Johnathan Taylor of 2021, meaning Taylor in January, February was in the mix for a top 3-4 rookie running back. No one had him number 1 yet, and then the hype started to build. If anybody's going to gain a boatload of steam walking into the 2021 draft, it will be Javonte Williams. He will gain a bunch of speed. I like Chuba Hubbard a lot. Andrew, like I said in my Hubbard video, based on talent, I love Hubbard. I love him. My fear is that teams aren't looking at him as a full-time guy. Hubbard has to land in the most ideal spot. I love Chuba Hubbard. Absolutely love him. But there's a lot of caution that goes with where you rank him, how much you invest. He needs to be the guy that you got. When I said Alvin Kamara was going to be a top 5 to 10 running back entering his rookie year, I never heard the end of it until I didn't hear the end of it. Now nobody remembers that they didn't like that call. People have foggy memories when something like that turns around, huh? If Chuba Hubbard lands in an environment like Kamara landed in New Orleans, where they believed in him, similar to Gibson, even though Gibson and Chuba Hubbard are very different in terms of their style, it's a very, very similar situation in terms of Gibson was special, but very unique. Antonio Gibson needs to be fed rushes. He needs to be fed receptions. He needs to get the double-digit touchdown potential. He needs all of that a certain way, and he needs to be used a certain way, a certain amount of this and a certain amount of that. There's no way Gibson's going out and running for 1,500 yards. He will break him. He won't do well. He will fail. But Washington uses Antonio Gibson perfect, which is why it goes against logic. It goes against all logic to suggest that Gibson's going to work out, because he wasn't a full-time running back really heading into the NFL. This is new to him, and that traditionally does not work, but it's unique. The situation is perfect. Washington knows what they're doing. They know what they have. That's Antonio Gibson. Javonte Williams, I'll get back to in a second. Chuba Hubbard, if in the right spot, used properly, trusted, believed in, like the Saints believed in Kamara. Kamara would be a very different player if he landed on a team where they didn't want to use him the way they used him. He wouldn't be the same guy. He would not be the Alvin Kamara we know. So I like Hubbard to answer that question. Javonte Williams, though, is different because he will be looked at as a starter by every team in the league. And if there's any player that's going to gain more steam than anybody else, it's going to be Javonte Williams. And everybody, keep in mind, like politics, a candidate for president, let's say, if you've been out there for a while, it's not fun to talk about you. And so, like a candidate kind of coming out in the 11th hour, and people rallying behind this new name, Williams is going to be talked about in a way that people are excited about this new player that might be the 1.1. Oh my God, we've been talking about Najee Harris over and over and over for months. Maybe it's Williams. That's what happened with Johnathan Taylor. He was not everybody's number 1 running back in January, in February. He became it very quickly. And I think that's going to happen with this man right here. And I don't want to hear, oh, you like rookies, Smitty. You like Javonte Williams. You like Harris. You like Chuba Hubbard. You like everybody, Smitty. You just like running backs. I do like running backs, and I do like rookies. And it just so happens that rookies are being groomed a lot better, faster, stronger at the college level than they used to. Justin Jefferson, that was not possible 10 years ago for him to come out and be literally top 5 to 10 wide receiver. Didn't happen. It took you your 3rd year in the NFL to break out at the NFL level as a wide receiver. It's different. You can come right in now as a quarterback. Okay, it takes a good year or two. You got to learn the system. Got to sit behind somebody for a while. No. Now you can be Herbert if you're in the right place. Joe Burrow was on that same mission. And guess what? Trevor Lawrence is going to be a top 10 fantasy QB as a rookie. And I think potentially develop very quickly into a top 5 fantasy football quarterback and top 5 NFL quarterback for sure. Typically, those go hand in hand, not always, but I think in this case it will. And I think he's either going to turn Laviska Shenault, or DJ Chark into a top 12, 15 wide receiver, maybe more. Shenault could be the Marcus Colston if some of you weren't in diapers when that guy broke out in New Orleans. Marquise Colston came out of nowhere, and people know who Shenault is, but he's not being talked about even close to enough as he deserves to be talked about. Shenault he had a lot of talent. It was a very talented wide receiver class last year. Shenault was talked about at times being a top 5 guy, and he's in an ideal dynasty spot. Talk about dynasty gem potential. Shenault with Trevor Lawrence, are you kidding me? Like, they could draft another wide receiver, maybe even next year, develop one, trade for him, get Allen Robinson. Golladay probably gets tagged, but anything can happen. It could be a sign and trade, a tag or whatever. Golladay, it could be a sign and trade. It could be anything. Golladay, A-Rob, who knows who's playing with Lawrence, but Lawrence is going to go crazy. I can't wait. But Javonte Williams. Great mock draft, everybody. Subscribe, follow if you're new. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out. And that's it for today. But we will continue to mock draft all off-season long, every single week. Subscribe if you're new. Go to Smitty1.com to get all my links, my podcast, the audio, get the link to the show. If you ever get lost, go to Smitty1.com to find the most recent YouTube show right there in front of your face. My link to my fantasy football news site, which I create and crank out, sleeperu.com. All my content, everything, all in one place, Smitty1.com.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show.
Smitty!